Hello and welcome to Ethan's Garage. Today you guys join me in Poznan, Poland. One of the last cities I haven't really explored in Poland. I've been pretty much everywhere else here. That's like my third or fourth time to Poland. But this is a cool city. I don't really know much about it. I don't know if the cars are good or what, but it's going to be a bit of a rushed visit, unfortunately, because I got to go on to Slovakia after this. But let's dive in and see what we can find in Poznan. There's a solid one, the new BMW M2. Funny enough, that thing is actually made in Mexico City, which is kind of crazy for an M car. It's interesting, this city has some special, really nice architecture, but it doesn't really look much like the other Polish cities. So this here is the incredibly impressive main square. Reminds me quite a bit of the other Polish city, Wrocław. Pretty impressive though. As usual, just some incredible European architecture. I was thinking about all this too, and I'm willing to bet that this might be one of the only proper Polish car spotting videos out there once I produce it, but who knows, maybe there's a bunch of them out there and I'm not familiar with them yet, but none that I know of. This place is huge. That's a rare sighting. We got a Swedish car with Swedish plates. Every time I come back to Europe, I'm always surprised again, because I've forgotten that they actually sell Subarus over here. This one's got Lithuanian plates, which is cool too. Fun country, Lithuania. And of course, you gotta always point out the amazing Toyota Hilux, also with Lithuanian plates. These are amazing. And I do see them every once in a while in San Diego because of the Mexico has them. These are always somewhat interesting. It's crazy to me seeing a Kia wagon, the Kia Proceed wagon. Thought of a Kia wagon in the US is like unfathomable. And we got here this very fun little Opel, I actually forgot the name of these. Something RS. Some more fun architecture here. So many of these European cities just go on and on. They seem like they're a small city at first, but then you just keep finding more and more squares and little neighborhoods. It's fantastic. And here comes the tram. This is yet another one of these weird little Chinese cars, the MG, which is of course the old British car company. Now it's these, at least I think this one is actually a gas car, which is something, but these are kind of everywhere in Europe. And right here is the incredibly bizarre looking, like 08-ish Civic. This is when the European and US Civic totally diverged, and this thing is an incredibly bizarre looking thing. I mean, the front of that is just super wacky. Looks more like a spaceship or something. Odd to see, and odd that they went with this design ever. So there's certainly been nothing too crazy exotic here so far, but then again, I appreciate the weird and strange stuff as much as exotic stuff, really. I did see a actually very nice new Bentley Continental GT on my way in with Czech plates. These are always cool to see. The newer Volkswagen Scirocco's that of course never made it to the US. That's a car you don't see in Europe too much, the Honda Odyssey. I'm really not liking the design of these new Mini Coopers. They're just a weird shape with weird angles. So please pardon the loss of light here. Fortunately it's like 9:30 here, which, given that we're so far north in Poland, we still do have light, but definitely not too much. Once it gets a little darker, I'll switch this over to its fancy night mode in this camera. Kind of like this here, this Ford Escort in green with the 16 valve badge in the back. This here is probably like a 2013-ish Corolla. And as you can see, unlike the US market, it's basically the same car, but pretty much all the front and back body panels are just a little bit different. And this here is a car we never ever got in the US, the Toyota Avensis, which I think is somewhere between maybe a Corolla and a Camry, but I'm not quite sure where it sits in the lineup. And we got another one of these newer Scirocco's. Very fun looking cars. These are always very strange. These Peugeot, I forget if they're front engine or mid-engine coupes. See that strange line like every other Peugeot RCZ. Looks very honestly like Audi R8-ish, and you can see that the rear glass is somewhat concave. Strange vehicle. This here is another, pretty basic, probably like 06-ish Corolla. Once again, a totally different face in it than the US market ones. And then always funny to see these here. I've seen quite a few of these in this city. Chrysler Town and Countries. They've done well in Europe. This Opel has a really nice color on it. I'm guessing it must be some kind of plug-in hybrid or EV. I always gotta love these little baby Alphas over here in Europe. They're awesome. And of course, the Toyota Aygo, this one with an Idaho plate on the side. It's kind of funny. I'm actually curious if this person might actually be an American. There is a US base nearby, so that might actually, obviously it's not a real plate, but that might be for somebody who actually is from Idaho, which is kind of funny. It's incredible over here seeing just how many models of Volkswagen never made it to the US. This is either a Fox or Lupo, or maybe a Polo, but I think it's a Lupo. Another car you'd never ever once got in the US. And here, once again, Ford Europe outdoing Ford US. The incredible Ford Mondeo. Just an amazing, amazing car. This thing's a pretty nice Toyota Celica with white wheels. Very fun, with pop-up headlights, of course. And this is one of these great Euro, and not just Euro, like Indian market cars, the Ford Ka, which has now just been discontinued since Ford is anti-small car for some reason. Great little things though. This is an awesome little Volkswagen here, in pretty good shape too. Love when Golfs were boxy. One of the many other subtle differences between the US and Europe is all the trucks and campers and stuff are just made by different folks. There's definitely some crossover, but only more for the coach buses, but even that, not too many of them. But this here is like an Iveco, which is a whole brand we never get in the US. And this, everything about this little bus is just something you'd never see in the US. So this here is a rare sighting here in Europe. A US Honda Accord. The Acura TL of the same era was actually the Honda Accord everywhere else but America. So I'm not sure quite what this thing is doing here, although once again, if there's a base in town, you gotta wonder if this thing is actually just American owned, actually. But weird to see. This is probably the first Honda Accord like this I think I've ever seen in Europe. Alright, well it's dark enough here and I gotta go find a place to sleep tonight. So I'm gonna call it quits for this video. Nothing too crazy, of course, but I think this is still always fun to check out European cars and a fun European city I've never been to before. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I always enjoy these things, so you know how I stand on it. But anyways, do make sure to subscribe, like, all that stuff. It really does matter. That's why we all say it. But with that, I will see you all in the next video.